If you want to be more efficient and effective while running your business with more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a band-aid is vital. Welcome to the Business Brain Podcast.
I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve. Jennifer owned a boutique pet grooming business. While she absolutely loved animals, communicating with people was more of a challenge. This meant there was often miscommunication with her team on scheduling or what tasks should be done. Most customers loved Jennifer, the work she did, and how she cared for their pets. But at least once a week, there was some sort of misunderstanding, either on pricing, schedule, or even the service, due to her struggles with miscommunication. By improving one thinking skill, not only did the environment in her shop change, she found she was able to make more sales, and even her social media was doing better. If you're experiencing something similar, I'm here to tell you, you do not have to struggle forever. In this episode 497 of the Business Brain Podcast, I'm going to share with you the exact steps of what you can do to have your own transformation. But first, your weak thinking skills are costing you money. How much, you ask? I'll tell you exactly how much. Head over to lifefixuniversity.com/calculator, and in less than 3 minutes, you'll see exactly what your weak thinking skills are costing you. That's lifefixuniversity.com/calculator. While you are doing any task, you, without even realizing it, are using your 28 thinking skills. When the thinking skills you need to use are strong, doing the task happens easily. If the thinking skill you need to use is weak, doing the task will be a challenge. The struggle that Jennifer had came from a weak thinking skill of considering another perspective. Considering another perspective is just that. Can I see another point of view? You don't have to agree with that other perspective. You do need to hear it, understand it, and consider it as a possibility. What's really interesting about this thinking skill is that people often struggle with considering another perspective because they actually really struggle with the thinking skill of orientation in space. Orientation in space is all things rights, lefts, directions, understanding how much space something takes up, etc. Now, if a person has a really hard time calculating which is your left hand when you're standing in a different direction, then they're going to have an even harder time understanding your perspective on an abstract or emotional topic. So, if you're struggling with considering another perspective, I suggest you first make sure your orientation in space is pretty okay. Check out episode 485 on ways how to improve your thinking skill of orientation in space. Now, back to considering another perspective, because in Jennifer's case, she was able to consider another person's perspective when it came to hearing ideas or thoughts on ideas. What she struggled with was seeing how other people's brains work differently and how to approach the situation accordingly. Jennifer knew everyone's brain worked differently, but had a really hard time wrapping her head around it practically. Like, what do you do when an employee is a verbal processor and talks everything out loud? Or how about the client who always gets confused when you give them information? The easiest way for Jennifer to understand it on a deeper level and apply it practically was by viewing it through the lens of the thinking skills. Every person has some stronger thinking skills and some weaker thinking skills. When you know what those are, you can communicate to the other person in the best way possible, the way that their brain works best. So Jennifer started by understanding the perspective of her employees. She had them take the thinking skill assessment to get a more accurate understanding of where their thinking skills were standing. You can take this thinking skill assessment at lifefixuniversity.com/CF. This led her to change how she spoke to each employee. When talking to the one that had a hard time thinking abstractly, Jennifer made sure to give more examples and to show more hands-on. Jennifer would ask the employee who was really good at hypothetical thinking for her opinions on solving complex problems. And the employee who was great at categorization became head of scheduling. As time went on, Jennifer not only spoke to her employees in the way that was best for their brain, but also helped them improve their thinking skills and ways to do their work best. They started noticing their stronger thinking skills showing up in all areas of their lives. With clients, Jennifer couldn't ask them to take a thinking skill assessment, but she could observe. And she noticed how they spoke and what they did. For example, the old lady who needed to explain what she wanted with analogies, Jennifer made sure to give analogies back. And the clients whose face drained when was handed the intake form, Jennifer had an employee help her fill it out line by line. Jennifer's approach to marketing drastically changed. It suddenly clicked on a deeper level what it means to make marketing simple and easy to understand. She realized that making it even a tad bit more complex makes it anyone with a weak thinking skill related to understanding it, not understanding it fully and not wanting to buy. By spending time with her clients and observing how every person approaches things based on their weak, strong thinking skills, Jennifer was able to be more on target with her marketing and bring in more clients. Considering another perspective can show up in different ways. As a business owner, we need to consider communicating with our clients and employees in the way that their brain works best. Your challenge this week is to observe and take note of how the people around you are thinking and operating. Use that information to respond to them in the best way they'll understand. Good luck, and I can't wait to hear your feedback on how that works.
That's all for this episode of the Business Brain Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your business friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Cheers to peak brain performance.